name is Hilda Pettit, and this is my husband, Bruce. Uh, we live in Ravenna, Ohio, in Charleston Township. Our farm name is Pettit's Green Thumb Farm. In total of our two properties, there are about 11 acres, and we grow fruit and vegetables on both properties. We in some form or another have always been gardeners and family farmers. We bought this second property in 2019, but we've been growing fruits and vegetables for our entire married life, which is 43 years. The first kind of gardening that we learned was very traditional, till up the soil, plant the plants, and, use the hoe kind of gardening. But we have we've tried tillage gardening. We have a couple of raised beds. We don't use pesticides and really even commercial fertilizers very much. And that wasn't always the practice that we had. We have a high tunnel greenhouse on our other property, so that's definitely a new kind of practice. We use a rainwater collection system, which is an irrigation system for our high tunnel, and we also collect it here. Here we use buckets to water the trees. Some of those are kind of old things that are back in style, again, for some important kind of reasons. But we haven't been stagnant farmers. We've tried all kinds of things to see what works best and what we like best.
But getting into like the pollinator stuff, that was only recently, I'd say in 2000. Well, when we purchased property here, really, 2019, 2020.
On this particular property, we have two pollinator fields. I say two because they were planted at two different years, but we do have two fields, and the total acreage is 2.5. We grew up with the bees and bugs, and so bugs are not foreign to us. So the idea that those bugs that maybe we didn't really think much about were useful in ways that we didn't know about. We weren't aware even that there was a grant for pollinator fields, and she mentioned it because I had frankly been moaning about having to mow so much. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you mean I could plant a field that I wouldn't have to spend money buying gas and time? It was just an ideal thing.
And it doesn't look like a brush patch.
The fields that have our pollinators in them now were cornfields at some time in the past, and they had also had clay drain tile in those fields, and those tractors or whatever broke the drain tile, and so we did and continue to fix holes that are popping up in those fields. So the pollinator plants themselves are really helping us repair some problems that were caused in the past.
We do see a lot more bees, and one of the reasons is we have somebody come out and bring a bee hive out here to pollinate our fruit trees in our garden and things like that, and they get the honey off of it, give us a little bit of honey. But we see a lot of bees. Starting to see more butterflies, I think, than what we did before. Of course, we love to see like the monarchs and stuff flying around, but I think there's more of those. And maybe it doesn't have anything to do with it, but I think we see a lot more different types of birds too. So
yeah, we have some Baltimore Orioles here now. We've seen some yellowbirds and even a handful of little bluebirds. I have never seen those birds here before. And we have a pretty good population of lightning bugs, fireflies here now too. Well, we had two experiences. We first worked with Kara and then Abby. So we had two different agents. Both of them were great. I think I will say though that it's important to know that it's not one cut and dried process.
Right.
Kara had a process, even though the paperwork process was the same. Kara's, planting process and recommendations were a little different than Abby's. With the first field, we prepped, and then we planted in December. With the second field, we prepped and we planted in May. So they were very different in the beginning. The outcome was great in both instances, but I think it's important to know that there's flexibility. So if your needs are something very particular, you should tell that to your agent so they can work around a process that suits your schedule as well.
And if we called them up, I'm sure they'd come out.
They would come out.
Yeah, if we have questions, and they'll usually bring somebody with them too. So if you have a particular question about one thing, they might not be the expert in that particular area, but they'll bring somebody from the department out there who is the expert in it.
I would say if you're considering a pollinator field, think about the reasons that you want to have it, and be sure that you understand the commitment that goes with having it, including what you might need to do to keep your neighborhood feeling comfortable with it, and that might include education, might include a little fence, but it might include inviting them over for a picnic, whatever that is. But understand what you're getting into, because there's a commitment attached to it, and you won't be able to look out the very first year and say, I don't think I like that. Maybe I should just mow it down. That's not going to be something you can do. So be sure that you understand what you're getting and that you're committed to taking care of it and giving it the value it deserves later.
Thank you for joining us for this installment of Pollinator Partnerships Working for Wildlife series, and special thanks to Hilda and Bruce Pettit of Pettit's Green Thumb Farm for sharing their Habitat Heroes story. This video is made possible through funding from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and support through the Natural Resources Conservation Service. To read the full interview with Hilda and Bruce, or to learn more about the on-farm benefits of pollinator habitat and how you can support pollinators on your ag lands, visit pollinator.org/NRCS Partner Biologists, or click the link in the description. Be sure to subscribe to the Working for Wildlife email list for information about events and to ensure that you never miss a new video.